directly from the alpha, we have some really interesting new information in regards to the possible planting of a new World 3, aka the new Teldrassil, aka the Night Elves finally getting justice after being wrecked just expansion after expansion. So the info itself comes from multiple sources, some in-game maps from the actual alpha that appears to be different in multiple editions that we see them in, some islands that appear to be temporary, and also the storyline of the Green Dragonflight, Ysera, and the implications of planting the Queen's Gift, the seed that was created from the Night Elven souls saved from the Maw in Ardenville. So what is all this new info, and is there going to be a patch in Dragonflight where we will get a new Teldrassil? So here's the most important bit of information that you need to keep in mind. The Night Elves had the most ridiculous storyline in the past two expansions. Really, it didn't even make all that much sense. They literally got attacked just out of nowhere as Sylvanas attempted to wipe them out, all the civilians, burned half of their civilization to the ground, and then Tyrande went crazy, got into the Night Warrior mode and attempted to get justified revenge on Sylvanas. Then Blizzard went with the entire "don't do revenge, trust me bro," and she was like, "Yeah, totally, you're right, Elune, so let's just completely abandon this revengeance mission." So Elune took away her powers. Tyrande then decided to send Sylvanas on a mission to save the souls from the Maw, and she did like a 180 in her narrative, and now all of a sudden she was talking about rebuilding. Well, at the time, this did not make any sense. This was super crazy. But in 9.2.5, we got a bit of a storyline that started making some sense. Now, when we combine this with the new info, maybe all of this will not just be BS, and maybe the Night Elves will finally see the light of day. So, the Winter Queen, the sister of Elune, decided to ask the saved Night Elves what they want to do, and they didn't want to remain in Outerbuild. Instead, they wanted to infuse their own souls with a seed that was given to Tyrande, known as the Queen's Gift. Now, this was a cool cinematic and all, but Blizzard literally didn't even tell us what this artifact actually is. Most of the speculations right now are talking about this being a seed that is supposed to create a new World 3, aka the new Teldrassil, and I gotta say, this makes the most amount of sense. I really can't see what else this could possibly be. Previously, we've seen Night Elven souls, wisps, which are just souls that remain in the material plane, empowering nature and the World 3s. We've seen these wisps destroy Archimon back in Warcraft 3, and they appear to be instrumental in just the way the World 3s work. Seeing that like a million of them infuse this gift, it's probably going to be a new World 3. They're not going to just, put this in a museum to show visitors the suffering of the Night Elven people. So here is the most important bit. Aside from the cinematic, there is a questline where Tyrande talks with Ysera that was resurrected by the Winter Queen, and she says to bring the seed to her daughter, and that she knows a place where it can be protected, but it has been too long. Obviously, we don't need to speculate what this place is. It's the Dragon Isles, and it was confirmed that Ysera's daughter will be present in an entire zone dedicated to the Green Dragonflight, known as the Ohn'ahran Plains. Now, this brings us to the new information and some really interesting implications from the Dragonflight Alpha. So here, we have multiple maps of the Ohn'ahran Plains, and all of them appear to be different, and the minimap itself is particularly different, and some of the islands have TMP written on them, meaning temporary. Now, you may be thinking, damn, Blizzard and Alpha Islands, this is not going to turn out in any way. It's not going to be good. If you remember, back in Worlds of Draenor, there was supposed to be an entire landmass of Farallon that was completely scrapped, as well as Tal'Daranat and Legion that just ended up being nothing. Now here, these islands are present in the overall map and the mini-map, but not in the in-game map of the zone, which might mean that this is in fact intentional and that this is not actually a part of the zone, even though it appears to be initially, but it is supposed to be patch content that we will reach later on. Otherwise, we will just be able to access these islands immediately. Now, the biggest speculation is that this could indeed be patch content that might happen in 10.1, 10.2. It could even be related to that hint limited patch known as Underground, and there might be some Titan facilities or just something hidden there. However, the most interesting fan theory is that this might indeed be the place where the new World Tree will be planted. I know it sounds crazy, but really it's not all that crazy. This really is the only zone on Azeroth where the planting of a World Tree would make sense, outside of maybe Northern Kalimdor. Ysera told Tyrande that she should bring this seed to the Dragon Isles, as that is where it will be kept safe. We know that Elune is going to play a role in this expansion, and we know that the Winter Queen, her sister, resurrected the mother of the Green Dragonflight as Elune's pet, and the dragons definitely owe her one. Furthermore, Ysera said something along the lines of, "It's almost impossible for me to return to the material plane, but maybe somehow there will be a way in the future," which strongly hints that she is actually going to be coming back. Of course, we don't really know much about the storyline of the Ohn'ahran Plains outside of the regular quest lines that don't really reveal much other than zone progression. However, what brings forth this theory is that this will be a new Teldrassil. Is really, when you put two maps together side by side, if you look at the shape of Teldrassil, where the capital and the center of the Night Civilization was, and the circle that is created by these islands, it is entirely possible that you could literally fit the exact same zone as Teldrassil, just exact same shaped zone in this place. Some islands are shown as temporary, and seeing that it is not a part of the zone, it might be patch content. However, these islands definitely seem small enough to be part of an entire patch, plus they're really hilly. It doesn't seem like there is something there outside of mountains, which means that these might just be surrounding the new World Tree. Obviously, Blizzard is not going to just show us the new World Tree in the alpha, as that would pretty much spoil the entire storyline, and when you examine a World Tree in general, it is gigantic, and literally it is a zone in itself. If all the hints with Ysera, Tyrande, and Elune point towards a new Teldrassil being created on the Dragon Isles, obviously it has to be placed somewhere, and when you think about it, we can definitely speculate right from the start, as there should be a vast empty space for this tree. When you pinpoint it, almost certainly it has to be in a zone related to the Green Dragonflight. Furthermore, I doubt we could, cut down half a zone to grow a new World Tree, and Teldrassil was actually planted in the Whale Sea, and the size of it is quite similar to that ring created by these islands off the coast of the Ohn'ahran Plains. Now, you may be thinking, but how can an entire World Tree be grown just instantly in a single patch? But if you think that, you don't really know how World Trees work, because Teldrassil was also planted quite recently, and it was literally a zone in itself, so it could happen over the course of a single patch, most definitely. Now, on the other side, I am aware that Ysera told Tyrande to bring the Queen's Gift so that it can be protected there, but what does that even mean? In my opinion, this is either going to be used as a World Tree seed, or maybe some sort of a really powerful artifact to save the world soul of Azeroth, and I really don't see any other plausible scenario. However, I gotta say the new World Tree would be really cool. It would mean that the Dragon Isles would not be forgotten after the expansion is over, as this would be a new Night Elven capital, and most importantly, the Night Elves would finally just catch a break after all these expansions of them just getting destroyed after expansion after expansion. Thank you for watching. Check out how Azeroth will be affected by the time skip by clicking on the screen, and check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.